I'll never forget when I got arrested and went to jail. My mama picked me up when they released me, drove me out to the farm of my grandma's house. My father was a cop, so this was even more personal. I knew I'd shamed my family. I was wearing a false identity, ready to be treated like a bad person that I was and continue acting like one. My mind wasn't changed. I just thought how I would do it, things differently to not get caught. What I was not expecting was the reception my grandmother had for me. When we pulled into the farm, she was on the front porch, had baked a cake, a welcome home sign, the whole family there to receive me in love. They spoke to me as if I was a great war hero coming home. My grandma talked to me as if I could be president of the United States one day. Scripture says, call those things which be not as though they were. She was not speaking to the man I had been acting like. She was speaking to the man she knew I was really made to become. Unconditional love changed me.
Keep in mind, people will only understand you from their level of perception, which means from the events they've been through and the filters they see the world. So sometimes it's not worth your energy trying to explain yourself to someone who's not going to understand you.
If you are someone that gets really nervous before performances, like in a sport or a presentation you got to give, I have an excellent tip for you really should take. When we feel nervous about something, we have distinct physiological reactions. Our palms sweat, our heart rate elevates, our pupils dilate, and we translate those things as stress, anxiety, nervousness. Well, what you don't know is that when you are excited about something, you actually have the same physiological reactions, but we're used to translating those things as pleasure. And so we don't think about it, but your palms sweat, your heart rate elevates, and your eyes dilate when you're pumped about something. So if you begin to tell yourself deliberately, because it's not going to feel real at first, but before you got a performance, when you're feeling nervousness and your palms are sweating, your heart rate's elevated, your eyes are dilating, literally say to yourself, I'm so excited. And just keep repeating it to yourself. Convince yourself you're excited, not nervous. And if you do it enough over time, you will literally begin to translate those nervous symptoms to being excited symptoms.
Let me tell you something. If you're constantly begging someone for attention and time and interaction, that person is letting you know they don't really want to be with you. Now that's tough to hear because you could be in a certain relationship with a person that you're married to or that you're dating, or it could be your parents or what have you, friends. But the truth is what it is. Right now I'm in Sandy's stall. She could leave if she wanted to because the door is wide open. And not only that door is wide open, but the door to the barn is wide open as well. So she could leave the whole barn if she wanted to and go run around with Arizona, the stud that's out there. But she's not. She's standing right here with me. Why? Because we've cultivated enough relationship that she wants to be with me. And so while I'm cleaning her stall, she wants to hang out with me. Now, this is just a life lesson that we can all apply, because sometimes we waste a lot of time with people that do not want to relate to us in a certain way. Relationships need to be defined. We have to act accordingly once you recognize how they are.
A great psychological operation undertaken by Western medication, utilizing your lack of education. Doctors will often have you fast before you come in for blood work. What does that do to your biology? It has you create lactic acid and ketones that oxidize into acetone, sloughing away or eating away the plaque or fat in all of your arteries or cells. So you can use it as a primary source of fuel to induce autophagy, apoptosis, and neurogenesis. Since you don't have sugar, your body will eat the plaque out of your arteries, curing you of heart disease. And if you don't know that, we can use that spike in cholesterol that your body's putting into your bloodstream for fuel to convince you you have high cholesterol and are killing yourself, so we can put you on medication preventing you from healing yourself. A doctor taking advantage of your lack of education to slowly poison you.
An old wise man told me, you could be the whole package and still end up at the wrong address. When this happens, the receiver will mishandle you. One, because they don't know what to do with you, and two, because they weren't supposed to have.
A lot of people say to me, oh, well, it's all right for you. You've got your life all sorted out. You haven't got the problems that I've got. Now, the chances are I've got as many problems as everybody else. The difference is I actually don't focus on them. If I keep focusing on the problems that I've got, then it's going to bring me down. So what I do is look at the solutions to the problems that I've got. And yes, I live in a stunning part of the world, but that hasn't happened by accident. I set a goal, I knew what I wanted, and then I engineered everything to actually take me in the direction I wanted to go. So instead of focusing on the things that are wrong, look at the things that you can do to actually change it and to turn them into things that are right.
You're not perfect, sport. Let me save you the suspense. This girl you met, she isn't perfect either. But the question is whether or not you're perfect for each other. That's the whole deal. That's what intimacy is all about.
Robin Williams with like the hammer, you know? So it's like once again, this is like an incredibly like it's self-disclosure, but it's an incredibly empathic way to, because it's empathy, because it cuts into his greatest fear with truth. This kid doesn't know what love is. He doesn't know what intimacy is. He doesn't know how to accept someone with grace. He's so focused on perfection. He's so focused on everyone not realizing how imperfect he is. You know, and so that's what's going to keep him. It's what's going to keep him from intimacy.
Oh, hey! So as a psychology student, one of my favorite things to research is attachment theory. So basically, your attachment style started when you were a baby, which is kind of scary because if you're like me and you didn't have the best childhood, your attachment style can be kind of fucked up. And based on the type of attachment style you have, it will determine what kind of relationship you will get into, what kind of parent you're going to be, what kind of friends you will have. It determines a lot. There are 3 different styles of attachment that you can have. You can be secure, anxious, or avoidant. Also, your attachment style can determine how good you are dealing with stressful situations or traumatic life events. It's a big overall, big picture thing. There's also a ton of research that shows a correlation between your attachment style and if you are going to get divorced or not. So if you have an anxious or avoidant attachment style, which isn't the best to have, you can actually train yourself to change it. But for that to happen, you have to know what attachment style you have. So like this video for part 2.
People think that the people that are at a very high level in society are cut from a different cloth. They think that they're literally a different breed than them, and that they can't get those things. So that's kind of interesting, right? And it's always kind of a shocker to have the myth of that person burst. But see, here's the thing. Although we're not cut from a different cloth, the fact that I mastered consistency is the difference. And most people will never do that. No one wants you to succeed, right? Only your mom. And even your mom doesn't want you to succeed because she's afraid you're not going to call her back. Your brain doesn't want you to be a big success. Your brain just wants to keep you alive. All your brain wants you to do is just pump out 1 or 2 kids so the DNA can continue on. That's it. Your brain will trick you. You are your own worst enemy.
4 things you might not know about anxiety. 1, it is more common among women and countries with more material wealth. 2, people with anxiety tend to be more sensitive to changes in facial expressions. 3, if you have social anxiety and feel uncomfortable around people, studies show that people actually think very highly of you. And 4, that is because people with anxiety tend to be more sensitive and more empathetic. Comment if you want a part 2 on how you can turn your anxiety into your superpower.
You're going to feel increasingly alone the more that you decide to master yourself, the more that you ascend. And by alone, I'm not meaning physically, I mean energetically. So let me explain. Most humans act upon their emotions rather than really taking the time to process their emotions. So if you're always divulging everything, if you're always telling your friends about how you're still struggling with the breakup and you don't understand why it happened, blah, 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 all you're doing is unpacking your stuff on your friends and then you think you feel better. It's okay to do that, but eventually mastery is about saying, okay, I'm not going to act upon that emotion. I'm going to sit in my dark room today and feel it. So you're traveling inwardly, which means that you're now not feeding those old patterns with your friends. So yes, you're going to be alone because you're having to do it on your own. You understand? So a lot of it is undoing the bondage that we create with our friends when we just dump on them.
There was this teacher that gave all of her students a copy of the same magazine. She told them all to turn to such and such a page. They did, and there was a picture of the world, a beautiful, full color picture. She said, tear it out. They all tore it out. She said, now rip it and tear it in as many pieces as you possibly can and spread it all over your desk, which they did. And then she said, everybody pull out your Scotch tape roll, put the world back together. And the person that puts the world back together the neatest and the quickest is the winner in the class. One little boy, less than 5 minutes flat, he had the world put back together, took it up, slapped it on her desk. She said, how in the world did you put this world back together so quickly? He said, flip the paper over, ma'am. She turned it over and there was a picture of a man. And he said, all I had to do was put the man back together. And the world automatically came back together the way it was supposed to. You see, friends, we don't have a planet problem. We have a people problem.
Give us a book. It was one book to start.
I'm going to spell it for you. The book is called G-O-O-G-L-E. Steve, it's 2020. The amount of information...
You know, my education is out. Because at first I went go-led. I was struggling, man. You can't spell nothing for me because I'm a visual guy. So once you start spelling, God, dog.
Me, by the way, me too. I'm scared to watch this film. I hope I just spelled Google properly. Like, me too. Find the way you learn. My friend, listen, if this is the first time you're discovering me and you're gonna watch me for the next 50 years, you're gonna hear the same stuff. This is about self-awareness, happiness, work ethic.
This is a master class on this note.
Listen, it doesn't matter who you are today. What matters is who you become tomorrow. Because let me show you something. I used to live there from 18 until I was 23, when some of my friends and family called me a loser and a failure, and that I would never going to be successful. But guess what? At the time, my bank account was broken, but not my mindset. But for some of you, you're forever poor because your mindset is broken. I share this with you to inspire and motivate you to keep on going, and don't ever give up on your dreams, and don't ever let anything or anybody hold you back from accomplishing your dreams. God bless and good luck.
But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame. Like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.